Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another Market Mates stream. It's good to be back with you guys. We're live here every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in America or 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. It is a Monday in Australia, and happy Sunday night to all our American friends over on the other side of the world. Craig told me this is how plugged in I've been into maybe buying a house and crypto and stuff. I forgot that the Super Bowl is literally on. I thought it was usually on a Tuesday. I don't know. That's usually, I thought, in Australia, it comes on like a Monday or a Tuesday. Oh, no, it is a Monday, I suppose. Yeah, so maybe it is. Yeah. Anyways, Craig, mate, GM to you. Will you be tuning into the Super Bowl after this? Go chat. Let me know. Who should I who should I punt on? Who should I be betting on for this Super Bowl?
Yeah, Jim Greeny. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in on Super Bowl Sunday. Thanks for pulling up. What's it? Seahawks versus who? Who's the other team? I've forgotten now off the top of my head.
Patriots.
Patriots, that's right. Of course, they're always there or thereabouts, aren't they? So I'm sure there's lots of Americans having a beer now, I'm sure, getting ready for that game. I think it's pretty popular there, so they'd be interested to see who pulls up today. But thanks for tuning in to us today. And what do we got, Greeny? Let's rock and roll. Actually, how was your weekend, Greeny? How was your weekend?
I was like, holy shit, Craig, we're getting straight into it 2 minutes in. No digest after the weekend. As you can see, guys, I had a bit of facial work done over the weekend. It's bear market. I decided to take a bit of profits, obviously, as you all know, in 2025 and plow that back into my body. So as you can see, there's a bit of a gloss. I've just paid, I don't know, about $15,000 to get a bit of gloss to my skin over the weekend. Amazing. So yeah, I hope it looks good. I feel like it looks good on stream, but I don't know. I'm a bit sensitive, guys. So if you don't like it, let me know. But yeah, so that's what I spent my weekend doing. That basically, yeah, just locking in and getting some facial work done. Just kidding. So no, I played golf yesterday and I got sunburn. I put sunscreen on. And for some reason, I'm I'm red as hell. You probably can't really tell.
It's actually too red. It's not too red on camera.
No, I mean, if I change colors with the lights, it might appear more red. But I played golf for the first time in a while with my two old housemates. So it was really nice to catch up. And we deleted a few too many beers, according to my wife. As always, fair enough. I kind of agree. And then you dehydrated. It was such a hot, warm day. We then went for a swim. You have more beers at lunch. You're like, and then I had a beer at dinner last night. We caught up with the other housemate as well. So it was a great day. We saw my old housemate. They just had a baby and it's about 2 or 3 months old. So first time we were meeting her. She was a little adorable baby. And so it's nice to catch up with friends and whatnot as well. But a bit of Hyperliquid tutorials I dropped on YouTube. But outside that, I stepped away from the markets, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, I did a similar thing. We caught up with some parents from my kids' school, which was nice for just a pub lunch and a few beers. That was good. And then yesterday was similar to you. I was in the sun, but I was doing yard work, Greeny. So joys of being a homeowner you've got to look forward to.
I already do that. So
yeah, gotcha. So that was good. No, it was good to be out in the sun. It was a good weekend. Cooked some good steaks last night.
Yeah, nice.
Had the best of the 80s cranking. So
nice.
Yeah, it was good, dude. It was good. It's nice and relaxing. I was the same as you. I kept an eye on the market, but not particularly close. And enjoyed not looking at the charts because it wasn't. I mean, there is a little bit to look at. We're bouncing about.
It's 72. So, yeah.
But it's a good time, I think, like we've spoken about, that if you need a bit of a break, it's probably the time to take it if any time. Not saying you should step away completely, but I wouldn't let it consume you right now because it's mostly bad. Depending on how you look at it, I suppose. Actually, I think it's mostly good, but if you're watching your bags go down, it's probably bad. But no, you got to enjoy your weekends, man. You got to enjoy your weekends and then lock back in during the week. So here we are.
Yeah,
it's looking.
Yeah, well, officially, guys, as well, I'll reveal it on stream. I am verbally a house owner as of this morning. So, debt, let's go!
Pretty exciting, dude.
Astronomical the amount of money I spent on this house, Craig. But hopefully it ages really well, and it could hopefully be worth millions in the years to come. We'll see. That's the property market in Australia. It just goes up. That's just how it works. So you might as well try and get in. So, exciting times, but. On the flip side, Bitcoin dumped obviously last week to 59K. We were live on stream. I don't think many people were live on stream as it happened in real time, and BTC lost the 60K level for the first time in a long time. A lot of people out there at the moment are very much like, oh, well, Like, is the bear market over? And I really want to talk about the theme of the difference between time and price capitulation, Craig, because a lot of people probably don't realize that there's a massive difference there as well. Thanks, Kiz. I do appreciate the comment there saying congrats. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. But if we have a look here, Craig, I mean, the interesting thing to note is, of course, this is a bit of I use this as a tweet today.
It's
but
good.
I don't think it's going to be obviously time based in this capacity where we spend the next 3 years going through a bear market. But it's more about the emphasis of what I'm trying to articulate, and what we'll talk about here at the start is we've probably seen the majority of the Bitcoin price dump. It dumped around 55% from the all-time high down to about $59,000. One would argue that's the majority of the price move. We could obviously oscillate a little bit lower. We could oscillate around this range for the full bear market. We don't know. We'll just wait and see. I would say, look, I think we probably go a little bit lower. I think 50K region, maybe tapping into 40K region is probably on my cards. But it's time that will probably ruin a lot of people, Craig. So I know that we could definitely speak about this from our experience, and it's probably really important that people hear this as well. But what's been your experience in the past and even now regarding the differences in understanding price capitulation compared to time capitulation?
Yeah, so price capitulation, I find personally, in my experience, is it happens quite fast. It's quite a fast move, fast as in time, obviously. So price goes down very quickly over a short amount of time. And then time capitulation is more about, or for me, my experience is more about the price doesn't necessarily dip over a long period of time. It more has quite an explosive move to the downside, has a few complacency bounces, which we're seeing now. Here's one. So ball bouncing down the stairs. We get our first bounce. Here we are. Then everyone goes, hey, and then, oh, and then, hey, and it just gets low. So each high gets lower and lower and lower. And then we bottom out. And normally at that point, it won't feel like a bottom because with each complacency bounce, obviously everyone gets excited. Some people re-enter, normally in the green, which they shouldn't do. And then it dumps again and they go, oh, I got it wrong again. And it bounces. They go, oh, here we go. Here's the pump. They buy again. And they buy. And then it dumps for the last time. And they feel so much pain that they go, I'm out. And then we hit capitulation. And then after capitulation, obviously, comes anger when they start blaming governments and things like that, which we're starting to see where we're starting to see, I even see early signs of that now, where I've seen a few people last week on the timeline say, I voted for Donald Trump. This is not what I wanted. What's he done to the market? And my answer to that would be the price was always going to pull back. It was always going to do this. It doesn't matter who's in charge. It might speed up the journey to the bottom or to the top. As we saw, it sort of sped up upwards movement. So it's probably going to, I guess, possibly speed up the downward movement. It's doing that. But I don't think you can hold one person accountable for price movement like this. If that was the case, if that was the case, that would be a miracle. And I'm sure lots of people would throw large amounts of money at him to completely pump the price. If that's all it took, unfortunately, that's not all it takes. There's a lot more at work in the markets than America. There's other countries. I don't know if Americans know this.
No, probably not. I'm going to say that they don't. I think they forget.
There is other big power players in the market. China's pretty big. Even, the EU's pretty big. Australia's even pretty big. We're pretty rich in natural resources, so we've got our own thing going. So each country plays their part. But of course, obviously the petrodollar is probably the thing that's most dominant, which I guess is the US because their military sort of backs that, as does ours. Anywho, back to your question. Yes, time is going to be the painful part. I agree with you. I think the majority of the downward move is done for Bitcoin. There might be, what are we now, 71? There might be about 20K left in it, give or take. So that will probably, that still is going to feel like, the thing is, that's not that far for Bitcoin to, well, it is. It's still far, but it's not like it's going to pull back 90% from here, I don't think.
No.
But it's alts and meme coins that are going to, if Bitcoin pulls back 20 more percent, 25%, alts and memes are going to pull back a lot more than that. So they're the ones that are going to go down way further, which is probably going to hurt the viewers more because they're probably more in those than Bitcoin. Or hopefully you guys, if you're still in things, hopefully you're probably more in Bitcoin because you'll be a little bit protected from that downside. But no, it's time. So from now until Q4, probably, most likely. So you've still got I think it's quite short, the way I look at it. But for other people, what, 10 months probably would feel like an eternity.
Yeah.
For me, looking at it, I don't think it's on my time horizon. I don't mind. Not that I don't mind it. I know I can handle it, I guess I'm saying, because I've been through it. So I'm prepared. I suppose just being prepared is the more important part, because if you're prepared, you won't be shocked. So that's probably good to hear. So I don't think that's long. 10 months to gives you a long time to accumulate, man. Gives you tons of time. So lots of time to, if you're working at your IRL job, you've got loads of time to stack cash. So if I was people, I'd just be loading up my dry powder and waiting for the dip. So the good news is you probably got at least 6 months to just earn money now, make money somewhere else and get ready to deploy that. Obviously, gamble responsibly is probably the best way to say that. And DCA the dip, I wouldn't just try and ape or time the bottom. But the good news is time is now very much on your side. It wasn't on your side at all-time high at all. Time was not on your side. That's where you had the least amount of time. We're coming into the stage now where you've got the most amount of time. So it's nice time-wise to accumulate, bad time-wise or bad price-wise. So that's my long-winded answer to that. You probably clip that, Levi, into probably a minute of less filler words.
No, I love that. I mean, if we have a look, it is going to be time that ruins a lot of people. And I think I want to ask you a follow-up question to that is, if you look at this chart, it looks like we're bouncing really nicely. Like this is a very strong 5-day candle here, right? Like we came all the way down to 59 and we're now back at 71. Like that is basically a crazy $12,000 move, right? A 20% move on Bitcoin. That's why anytime you see value, you got to click buy, in my opinion, in fear. So I want to ask you, Craig, and I'll obviously say mine first, but I think I have about 0.5 of Bitcoin now at an average cost basis of around $64,000. I'm very happy with that because that is basically around 50% from the all-time highs. Got it spread across a couple of places. Did you buy the dip? Now, I know that you obviously have a bag initially from way lower. You obviously swing traded from the tariff dip. You took some profits at 125. You took profits in the 115 range. You took profits at 107 range. You took profits more recently when we got to 97, only a couple of weeks ago live on stream. Talk to me. Did you buy this dip below? I knew you were originally targeting below the previous all-time high of 69. Did you buy below 69K? Talk to us. How does that look for you and your portfolio right now?
Yeah, no, I didn't. The main reason was, but by the time we got off stream, I could have moved my stables. It had really bounced quite aggressively. And I was like, nah, although I probably should have still in the mid 60s.
Yeah.
I also felt like I've got time and I feel like I'm going to see 60 again. Yeah. If I don't, fantastic, great for my moon bag I still have. So I'm kind of in a position because I still have a bag of Bitcoin. I'm not rushing to buy, if that makes sense. I'm patient. So I think we're buying at 47K. What's up, Alpha Sane? What's up, Full Moon? So no, I didn't, only because the reaction was so strong and I missed the entry, what I thought was an entry. I want 60 now. I got a bit greedy. Maybe that's going to come back and bite me in the ass.
Yeah.
Maybe in a year's time, this would be a good clip to go back to and say, that's why you should DCA, not time the bottom.
Yeah.
I just don't think 60 is the bottom though.
Not necessarily. I do agree, but I don't. The volatility, I know Tyler Durden shared this as a great chart, and I've tracked volatility of assets as well. But that was the first time we saw volatility on Bitcoin hitting like crazy, unprecedented levels for a very long time. So that shows you that was such an insane sell-off that we probably and you got to remember, we did spend 2-3 months going sideways, not doing too much between 80 and 96K. So, of course, volatility was expected and we got it, but don't expect us to just dump aggressively from now. It's going to take another period of consolidation, reaccumulation, redistribution, however you want to describe it. How high do we go? Who knows? Probably back up to potentially this weekly order block around sort of high 70s could be a level to watch. I mean, you've still got plenty of imbalances up to about, 80K. So we could easily pump up here, set a lower high. I mean, if you start turning on your high time frame moving averages as well, like the 200-day, we are back above the 200-day. So historically, buying below the 200-day moving average on the weekly chart is a good, it ages well. Do we hit the 300-day? Probably, likely. Does that take time? Yeah, maybe. I mean, it might move up towards sort of, I'll use it on this chart, just it's a bit cleaner. Let me just remove all the noise. But if we have a look here, like you could easily see it come down towards that 56 high 50k region. We nearly got there, to be honest, the other day. So this remains probably my high time frame level. I mean, if you do look last cycle, we spent time well below both of these. The cycle before, we also came down and tapped right into it, both twice during the bear market period here. And again, this is what I mean by time, Craig. Look at this. Wow, we went sideways here for months and months and months. Okay, this was November 2018, and we didn't leave this range until April 2019. So that's about a 7-month period, about a 6-month period where we just went sideways, okay, in between the 200 and the 300-day moving average. That's why it's so important to look at this on a high time frame chart. Once you start to flip the 21 EMA, which is your yellow line here, that shows you that structure starting to change. Obviously, structure changed here in terms of price, going back above these highs here and going up high from there. But that's your structure change as well, confirming with moving average strength, okay? And that's the sort of bottom that you want to be looking for, is around it, like a bottom like this, okay? I mean, you would say the bottom's, oh, why did my chart move? Around there, okay? We had a deviation below, like we often do. We grabbed the liquidity, okay, reclaim, and maintained it, then broke high. So that's what you want to be looking for on it specifically. So for me, Craig, anything below, even the COVID dip, it got to 200-day, 300-day moving average, never closed below. It's probably the key lesson here as well. And I mean, if we go back and have a look, even way back in 2015 as well, like we never really closed below the 300-day moving average. So historically, it has been very good, except for obviously more recently where we did spend a bit of time below the 300-day moving average in the last bear cycle when Terra Luna collapsed, when FTX collapsed. Okay, there was a lot of bearishness here. There was no real hope here. It wasn't until like later here, where in 2023, where we started to hear rumors of Trump and rumors of ETFs and all those sorts of things. So again, anytime you see, in my opinion, BTC down between the 200 and 300-day moving average, it is historically a sensational opportunity if you play time, not price, if you play time. And that's a lesson I've learned 9 years in. I'm playing time now. And so I agree with you. I actually think, for me, anything below 67K is pretty good value, in my opinion, long term. Even if we only go back to the previous all-time high, that's nearly a 2x. And 2x on, say you get a couple $100,000 in there, 2x on size is a lot of money, right? In a 3-4 year, 5-year period, right? Arguably, I think we're probably even going to be more bullish than that in terms of, I don't think we dump too much more aggressively in price. Rather, we consolidate, reaccumulate at these levels, maybe a little bit lower over the majority of 2026. And then in 27, 28, we have that next exponential wave up towards sort of 200K, in my opinion. So again, if you're buying Bitcoin between 50 and 75, I think that ages for a really nice potential 2-3x trade in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with all of that. No, and good point about your moving averages. That was a great buy zone, bro. 59.60, I think, was pretty amazing.
I had a buy order at 60 hit, so thank goodness.
I think that's a good buy. I think I missed that buy, and I think it's going to take now time for the market to digest that move. So yes. I actually don't think we're going to see 60 again for some time. So anyone who bought 60, I think you're going to be in the green. You might even be in the green for months now.
Yeah.
Because I think we could bounce around this range now for some time. So I actually don't think I'll get another nibble at 64. It could be weeks. It could actually be months. But I think I'll get a second bite at that, no doubt. And I think I'll get buys lower than that as well. So I'm kind of just chilling until I think now we'll probably, like you just said, I think we'll push up possibly even to 80, 85, somewhere around there, possibly. I don't know if we'll get a bounce as high as 85, maybe. But yeah, I see us sort of maybe hitting up and sort of bouncing around, and then I think we'll cop another dip at some point. So now that I've missed that, I've got to chill now and just not chase it either. Once I saw that bounce, I can't remember where I saw it after our stream, where it was. It was a positive sign, though, to see that happen. I enjoyed that bounce for me, even though I didn't get to buy that dip. I like the way the market responded at that level, and it bounced exactly at the fib, bro. Like these are fibs I drew, and I got goosebumps when I said that because I'm a genius for a moment. But where it went from the all-time high to the swing low, well, the initial swing low. It just tapped the exact mark, which I think was 60K. It's just, if you don't believe in fibs, draw them in sometimes. Draw them in. And then watch. And I think I drew mine in like, when was all-time high? Last year sometime I drew mine.
Yeah.
So it's amazing, dude. When you see it actually happen, where you don't force your fib levels on, because I know some people be like, yeah, you're just drawing it in later and it fits. No. These were drawn in September last year, and it's playing out in February 26 now. So, oh man, I can't encourage people enough to use the fib retracement tool. Honestly, if there's one thing you use, other than looking at the news, don't do that. I used to follow the news. It's too late. By the time they serve you the reason for the price moving, it's explaining what's happened, not what's going to happen. Whereas TA will give you a hint. It won't give you the exact future, because if it did, we wouldn't even be on stream. Oh, maybe we would, but I'd be living in a castle if it, we all would be. There'd be no one making money, because everyone would have the same advantage. So it's also how you use the tool. That's the other thing I'd say. It's one thing to have a tool. It's how you use it, right? So,
and how to understand it too. So
how to understand it. Don't take it as gospel. But it's like saying, it's like you're trying to drive somewhere and someone's saying, here's a map, and you're going, no, I'll do it blindly.
Yeah.
I just don't see why you do that. Or don't turn your headlights on in the dark. Like, it's like, no, I'd rather see. Like, I might still crash, but I'd rather have an idea what I'm going to hit. Yeah, that's just me. If people want to go blindly, that's up to you. But if you want to have kind of and the piece I think it brings as well is nice. And when you see it respecting the chart, it installs more confidence. So that's why I'm sort of getting at that bounce for me was so good to see, because it just respected levels I thought it needed to respect. And it kind of cut through a hot knife through butter through some other levels. So I was kind of waiting to see when this bad boy's going to slow down. And just seeing price react there, seeing buyers come back into the market. I don't know what volume was like in that period. I don't know if volume spiked a lot, but buyers.
Sell volume did. Yeah, sell volume did. I mean,
actually, I guess
a bear market ends when sellers are exhausted. I think that's a big lesson here. It's not when buyers step in; it's when sellers are exhausted, and that likely takes time. So no, TA is so sensational. Like, come and learn how to do it in GDG. It's 3 a.m. Love it, bro. Thanks for tuning in, Rizira.
Daily exchange volume pumped on that day. So,
well, I wonder. Yeah, so if you have a look on a lower time frame on the daily, we had a big sell-off, obviously, into the dump, and then we had nearly as much buy pressure straight into that. So that's good to see. Obviously, there was good value there. This is obviously on Bybit specifically.
First time in a long time, if you look at those green bars, bro, that there's been that much buy volume. Consequently, almost the same as sell volume as well. But
well, volume's been down.
There's money out there, actually, because it felt like there was none out there for quite some time. When we were sort of bouncing around that 96, 98 level on low volume, we're like, oh man, this rally's going to fail. Like, there's no one interested, right? And then people just held their bags and just went, oh, I can't handle this anymore. And dumped. So good buy you got, dude. That 60K buy is a ripper.
I just checked. So on one wallet, it says my average buy is 65.8, and then my other one is around 64. Or it's probably the same. It's around 65, I think, my average buy is. But I've introduced limit orders below that again, 62, 60, 57, 55. And I'll obviously be tapped in and get notifications if we go lower. So I've got plenty of money sitting ready to go on an exchange, ready to buy. So, I think it ages really well. My goal is, let's talk about Hyperliquid, because it's obviously the one that's dominating, maintaining strength, still not showing any weakness here at all, even though it has rejected the 0.5 of this range from its previous high and its breakout low. There's obviously a weekly order block in here. There's obviously a weekly order block at 12. I don't know if we see 12 anymore. When we're in this bear trend here, before HIP3 launch, I was pretty keen. I was saying, it's definitely probably going to go down here. But now that HIP3 is launched, there's that much volume on there, that much interest on there, that much revenue on there, that much buybacks. It is hard to see it may be going to 12, but I'll never say never, because I've been in plenty of bear markets before, and you often think stuff can't happen, but trust me, it'll happen. It'll keep going down until certain points of view. So a lot of people are like, well, Greeny, why are you still patient? Why are you saying that? Eli commented on one of my posts and was like, did you capitulate and buy? And I said, no, I don't capitulate. I don't do that. I don't do that. So I bought a little bit at 33.9 when it was breaking out above this 0.5. I then moved my stop loss to break even on my spot bag, and then that got stopped out over the weekend. So now I actually see, like, the thing about crypto too is if it's going to be time based and it's going to be price based in a few months again as well, stuff that's held up now might not have the narrative, might not have the trends next time we do dump, right? And so if things are held up now, then more than likely they're going to outperform to the downside because they held strength earlier when everything else already dumped, right? So I'm not saying Hyperliquid's going to dump to $5, but I'm saying that this likely trades back towards that golden pocket there at around $26, back towards that weekly order block around $24. And that's where I get really excited, I think. Like, and the other reason, like, kind of like you said, Craig, like, you don't feel like you've missed anything just yet by not buying the dip. It was a great opportunity, and I think it ages well, but you will get likely more opportunities. And that's what I know. Like Eli was like, Greeny, have you capitulated? I was like, absolutely not. I don't capitulate, bro. Like, I know that time is on my side. I'm a patient man, and I will patiently wait to accumulate Hyperliquid around $26, in my opinion. I think it definitely trades back that way later this year.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that too, dude. I think there's so many of us waiting. Like, if we see $20, dude, I'm going pretty ham, eh?
Well, let's talk about that. If it's a saturated trade, if it's a saturated idea, that also shows me that we're going lower in a bear market, right? If it's a early stage of a bull market or it's a bull market, it's going to pump, it's going to outperform, and you can get in a momentum based trade fundamentally, and ignoring more technicals and structures, you can do that. And I've made money that way as well. But where we are now in current market conditions, with USD dominance showing a lot of strength as well, like, I know that if everybody and their dog, their second cousin's kid, the bloody neighbor from neighbor, like my neighbor over there, he's talking about Hyperliquid. Like, you know, if it's that saturated, we go lower before we go higher, because too many people are keen. You need pain. You need pain before we're ready to go higher. So for me, I stay so patient. I do think we get a good level to watch this later this year. And I think for me, it really, like, my portfolio is going to be pretty simple. It's going to be Bitcoin, Hyperliquid, probably Rekt. I bought a little bit of Rekt, obviously, at 77 mil the other day too. I wonder how that's going. I'll check that. Yeah, it's back at that level. So I like that level for a little bit of accumulation as well. Again, you're just betting on a team, betting on a brand. It's at literally at the 886. So that means, like, if it was to revisit its all-time high in the future, I'd be up 7x. So I have envisioned, like, I think these guys are goated, and I think the brand is goated, and I think this is a no-brainer when you consider that they do allocate, unlike Pengu, they do allocate funds, buybacks back into the token. Big separation recently, and I think a lot of people need to realize this, is like, Pudgy Penguins is a great brand. It's a great business model with the toys and whatnot as well worldwide, but they don't facilitate that back into token price or NFT floors. There's a big separation there. So I'll be very curious to see if that does change in future years, or if Luca very much just holds the same sort of sentiment and value that he's placed on it as a brand of culture, as a brand of memetics, and as the face of cryptocurrency, you could argue, Craig.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how Pengu, probably more specifically, behaves in this bear market, or what Luca does to stimulate the chart. It's going to need, I mean, I think he was saying last time when it had that big dip, he bought up quite a large amount.
Yeah,
so I guess he did his own buybacks in a sense, but I guess it wasn't anything official that we knew. It wasn't a percentage based thing or anything like that. So it's nothing you could calculate, unfortunately. I don't know, dude. That looks horrendous. Doesn't it? Like,
structurally,
or I guess I could say that looks fantastic because it's eating shit, dude. Like, that's woo. Yeah, my bags. I still hold a bit of this. Wowee. Yeah, I probably think this is probably not a bad buy going into the bull.
You'll have time.
Again, I feel like I've got 12 months to buy this because I don't see what the rush is for this, because I think from what I know and understand what's coming so far, the only bullish catalyst for this is the next bull market. Sorry. That's the catalyst. The bull market's coming. There's nothing fundamentally I can say about it that will send it that I know of. So I think I've probably got 12 months to buy this. I'm in no rush to buy memes at the moment, man. And that's possibly because I still hold some.
Yeah.
So my mindset's probably a bit different. I hadn't exited completely, so I'm not gagging to throw more money at this because I kind of figure, well, that bag I've got left, maybe that's enough just to wait for the next bull and get my exit rather than trying to. I'm really concentrating most of my money into Bitcoin and probably Hyperliquid and probably a little bit of Sol to a much lesser degree, only because I think meme coins will continue to trade on that chain unless something else comes out. But I think memes are still going to be popular, probably still through the bear as well. What that does to Solana normally helps it out a bit. So I wouldn't mind a bit of that just as a hedge on memes continuing to be on that chain.
Yeah.
But I don't also want to fall into the trap that a lot of Ethereum holders fell into last bull run, where they thought Ethereum was going to do the same thing that it did in 21. Yeah. And they ended up I don't even think they got a new all-time high, did they? Did we? I should say. I was in Ethereum too. It's not like I didn't have it. So maybe Solana has a slightly lackluster I keep saying the wrong thing. Bull market, next bull market, and maybe like we said, maybe Hyperliquid's the soul of last bull. So that's sort of what you and I have been speaking about. So I think Bitcoin for me, Hyperliquid for me, and then probably Solana, and then probably shout out to Rekt and Pengu as well. They kind of fit in that next category down risk-wise for me. Yeah. But I kind of figure unless I'm buying, I need to be putting most of my energy, I think, into Bitcoin because I'm like you. I've managed to accrue a decent amount of, I suppose you could say, wealth over the last 3 years. I just want to be quite careful where I put that money now. I don't want to just erode it chasing shiny things. I'm like you said earlier in the show, I would be, honestly, if I plow that money, if I just took everything, all my profit I made, and I put in Bitcoin and Bitcoin just did a 2x, that wouldn't be that bad. Like, if you offered me that now, I'd lock it in. I'd just be like, maybe not a 2x, give me a 3, and I'll just lock it in and throw everything I have.
Less time, less risk. You spend time doing other things like this show.
We can build a brand, do our show.
Exactly. Like it's execution, right? I do think that there will still be always on-chain trends that that will merge and that you can trade for sure in new ways we can't even comprehend yet.
They're just unknown now's the thing.
Exactly. It's
what that is, I don't know. What's going to be like? We had meme coins this bull run, next bull run. The thing is, it never looks quite the same. We had ordinals pop last time; they didn't exist the time before. There's going to be something. There'll be many things that are new in some way, maybe even repackaged to look different, but they're the same. E.g., alts turn into memes, and memes ran. Now some memes will turn into AI. I don't know where it's going to go. You never know where it's going to go, but you just have to. That's the benefit of staying now, though, is when those new metas come, you'll feel it straight away. Whereas if you step away, I've got a couple of IRL friends that felt like they got in too late into the bull run, which is ironic because they actually entered at about 44K. So it's like, you guys, they should have stuck around. Bless you, Greenie.
Thank you.
And they didn't stick around. And one of my really good friends was like, I'll come back next bear. And while I can kind of see his thinking, I kind of think the best thing you can do is hang around, even during the bull, in the bear, just so when things start to move, you can see it quite clearly. Because if you step away, you just won't, your accuracy decreases. I know with mine it does. When I stepped away from meme coins and then you go back to them, you kind of feel like a tourist all over again. You're not plugged in. You don't have the same intuition you had. Like when I was locked into memes, it's like playing cricket or any sport where you just go through the reps, you get better and better and better. When you step away and you come back, you're so rusty and you just get flogged. So that's one reason to stick around is you get to see everything clearly. And then when new metas come, you're like, this is so obvious. E.g. Bohm in that last bear, that was...
Add more like prediction markets, InfoFi, even NFTs on Solana. That was never a meta. That was huge at the start of the cycle. So there will be so many trends that will emerge in the end of 26 into 27 that we will be able to make money in. It's just have a spare, and that's we always say like have liquidity, like a lot. And like Kix is a great example of that. Like he always makes sure he has a kitty ready to go in case the next Bored Ape Yacht Club opportunity comes along, right? Because if you're fully allocated or if you're fully only immersed into one specific model of making money, you'll never make it in crypto, right? All the Ethereum bulls from 21 struggled with the transition to Solana this cycle. All the NFT bulls from 2021 still tried to make money in only NFTs this run. Sure, if you know what you're doing on NFTs, you can probably make money swing trading it, lending it, whatever the process is. But I would argue there's far easier ways to make money with less time, with less knowledge, with less being tuned in, and they will always emerge in our industry. And that's the exciting part that I do agree. We got news as well I want to talk about, but let's talk about some on-chain stats, because this is always good to actually see the value in real time. So, Craig, have you ever looked into the Z-score of Bitcoin before, the MVRV, which basically shows us is a Bitcoin chart that uses blockchain analysis to identify periods where Bitcoin is extremely over or undervalued relative to its fair value. They use obviously market value, they use realized value as well, and they give you a Z-score, right, which is the standard deviation that pulls the test of time and the extremes in the data between market value and realized value. So historically, it's been a very effective in identifying periods where market is moving usually high above realized value as well as below realized value. It's just a great on-chain metric that you can track. If we have a look, Craig, as you can see, this has historically been really good value. Anytime you get down into this little area down here, back towards 0 as a MVRV Z score for Bitcoin, back down here, what, about 0.2, it shows you that there is a lot of opportunity there. So we are close to where this is presenting a really good value in terms of where it realized value really is. And that's probably not too far away. Now, this obviously could be very similar to the 200-day moving average. If we also have a look, another trend that I already see just visually looking at this is the Z-score is diminishing over time, okay? And Bitcoin's returns are diminishing over each period, each cycle. Now, that is something you all need to learn is gone are the days of Bitcoin doing a 15x, a 10x, a 25x, right? It's too big of an asset. There's too much money that needs to move into it for it to return those sort of huge ROIs, which is why a lot of people still really go out there and gamble on altcoins and gamble on meme coins and gamble on other on-chain opportunities, right? Because they think, well, Bitcoin's only going to give me a 2-3x potentially in the next sort of couple of years. Why would I bother if I have less money? And that's why we always speak about this. If you might be different to Craig and I. Craig might be sitting on 10 milli. I might be sitting on 1 milli, and you might be sitting on $10,000. We are all very different in the way that we need to approach a trade, let alone an investment strategy, right? So always tweak what we tell you, what we educate you about to your personal situation, and use this as a guide, as an educational tool, as an educational resource, our analysis every day, so that you can plug into what we give to you to obviously make it relatable for what you need in your life and your current period of time of investment or trading in crypto. So, Craig, what do you think about this? We are nearly approaching where it screams value. And historically, this doesn't necessarily time the exact bottom, but it shows you when periods of Bitcoin goes either into a negative Z-score and it gives you up here where price goes below the realized value of it. This shows me that we probably have a little bit lower, in my opinion, but there's significant value in this 60K low region zone, potentially 50K region. I think if you're buying Bitcoin there, I think that ages very well. And this has the proof of it on chain.
Yeah, no, I don't think I have looked at this, but yeah, interesting. I suppose this combined with a few other data points is probably pretty useful. If you've got this and 5 others, 10 other data points, then this becomes very useful. In isolation, maybe not so much so. Although going off, I mean, if you bought those times where it did go into that sort of green down the bottom there, that's pretty accurate, dude. Like that's probably where you should have bought, more or less. So I guess that's just a good little data point to keep an eye on, just to give you a little bit more confidence, probably when you're buying. It does show we look like we need to go a little bit lower, but not much, is it? That's the good news. Doesn't look like much. So I agree with you. I still think anywhere between 40 and 60. That's sort of my range. I know it's a big range, but I'm not good enough to time the bottom. Everyone who's watching, it's not my skill set. I don't know anyone who can. No one I've seen anywhere picks times bottom and tops. And anyone I see who's claiming that, I think is more LARPing than anything, dude. Like you and I know some pretty experienced traders. How many got the top wrong? How many? Well,
dude,
like 95%?
they were so publicly bullish as well. That's like, that was, and like, don't get me wrong, like I respect a lot of traders out there, but don't be like, they were so emotionally involved in trying to be right about being bullish in 26 that they got it so wrong. And again, that's a lesson I've learned. Like 9 years in, like, become unemotional, become unbiased. It is hard, trust me. It takes probably time and experience, knowledge, skills, losing money, winning money, failing. It all comes together. But don't be obnoxiously either side. Don't be obnoxiously bearish. Don't be obnoxiously bullish. Find that medium where you edge and you go between, right? Like, for example, like I'm bullish when I need to be bullish. I'm bearish when I need to be bearish. Or if I don't have a read on the market, I just like, I kind of chill. And sometimes no trade is the best trade you can have in crypto, Craig. So, yeah, that's definitely a model to follow. We spoke about this a couple of weeks ago as well. Our percentage of addresses in profit. Now, historically, anytime this dips is a great accumulation level, right? Because it just means that sellers are exhausted and less people are in profit. So it becomes a good value asset. So if we look at Bitcoin, okay, way back in 2012, it went down to 14%. In the 2015 market, it went down to 36%. In the 2019 market, the bear market, it went down to 44%. In the 2022 bear market, it only went down to 50%. So in theory, we spoke about this a few weeks ago, I would argue 60%, 60% of wallets are in profit. I think that screams buy for me, Craig. So we are not far away from that. We are at 67%.
I get excited, dude. I'm getting goosebumps. That gets me
like, I can look. This is an example of me using fundamental on-chain analysis, not even technicals. This goes beside the point of technicals. We already touched on the technicals at the start of the show, the 200-day moving average, 300-day moving average, Fibonacci retracement levels, okay, moving averages that you can use, pullbacks into weekly order box, et cetera, right? This is fundamental proof of value, right? So everyone, again, this is another way that you can evolve yourself as a trader or an investor, is use fundamentals and technicals. I know plenty of good technical traders that don't use fundamentals. They do all right, but they still lack understanding of why meme coins did so well. You then also have the other side of our fundamental traders who dominate a trend, but then they don't understand that you need to be bearish because price needs to reset because stochastics overextended and market structure breaks with liquidity sweeps, blah, 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 right? So find a happy medium of fundamental analysis and technical analysis, and you will make so much money in crypto. I promise you. I promise you, you will.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I completely agree with that. And that's why you'll see, just to go on your point, you'll see some technical analysis laugh at using TA on memes. You get those people, and it's like, while I get their point, certainly it's worth using that tool they're not using. Like, exactly. I need to stress that. I cannot stress it enough. You and I have charted thousands of meme coins.
Tens of thousands.
And I have still found value in doing so. Because if I didn't, I would stop doing it. I'm not stuck in my ways. It's just, once you see it work, you can't unsee it. It's like someone saying, if you don't drink that water, it'll kill you, and you drink it and you don't die, and you're like, oh, that was all right. And you drink it again and go, oh, that was all right. That's just untrue. That gets me excited, what you brought up there, the addresses and profit. So what's it at now? 70%, but less.
67% at 62K. So this will obviously update with the next weekly close, I assume, which is actually in about 14 minutes. Maybe it's a weekly close, I would assume. I'm not 100% sure with how this actually tracks analytically, but yeah, it's at 67% at 62K. So that's why I was so keen to buy at the low 60K region, and had my orders there set months ago, because there's value down there on chain and technically. So
probably where it bounced last time is at about what, 50%?
Yeah, about 58% here. So I think around that region screams value. I think that does scream value.
Yeah, so not much lower price-wise until that level hits, which again coincides with everything else you just brought up.
Yeah, low 50s.
It lines up. And the market, what I was going to touch on, and the market gives so many clues. It does. Yeah. It's a lot of clues. It's not like this price dump, while it might have caught a lot of people off guard, you and I, it didn't catch the speed at which it did surprised me. But the move itself did not. So that's why you and I, like, if you rewatch our stream on Friday, we're laughing. whereas really I should have been feeling sick inside. But I didn't feel sick inside. And the reason why I didn't is because I guess A, it's time in the saddle, but B, it's you take the time to look at all the clues the market gives you, and rather than willing onto the market or the chart what you want, you've got to listen. You got to talk less and listen more. And shout out to Trader Main. He put up a good video. I think it was yesterday, and he went over how wrong he got it at the lower high. Great video. I actually think he's a great trader, dude. I like the way he speaks. I like the way he owned it. Yes, he got it wrong, but he owned up to it. He didn't have to own it. I think people kind of hammer Coles a bit too much about it. You got to own up to it. It's not like that. You don't have to own up to it. It's not like you did something deceitfully wrong. No. He just didn't, and me to a certain degree as well, didn't listen to the clues. And he says that on the stream. He goes, guys, the clues were all there, and that what I teach and what I preach about, but I just got caught up
with the obnoxiously bullish emotional bias.
I did too, to a certain degree. I did too. And I go back, I was putting up some Facebook posts when it was at 116. And I've gone back to the comments I put there. I can see I was overly bullish when I shouldn't have been. Which happens. That's what happens at those price points. And it's going to happen at the low. So the key is to look at those moments where I just wasn't listening enough, and I was probably putting a bit too much of what I wanted into the chart, and looking cherry picking data points that suited my thesis or narrative, rather than going, ooh, this I needed to be more bearish in hindsight.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this is probably going to happen every all-time high, because it's hard to not get caught up. But it's about, I guess the lesson is just sell into local highs, probably each local high, scale out, and that it won't matter as much. Luckily for me, it didn't, because I was doing that. But yeah, it's even for someone who's semi-experienced like me, I still get caught up in it. Emotions still affect me. It still affects you. It's about learning. So I'm certainly going to, hopefully moving forward into the next bull, again, I learned a lot from 21 to 25. Hopefully I can take again that knowledge from 25 to 28 approx, and do better again. And the difference in performance from my first bull to my second's astronomical. So even though I'm saying all the stuff I wasn't listening enough and blah, 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 there was enough improvements for me to go, dude, job well done. Like, you did well from the first, because the first was not great. So now what I need to do is execute again. And so for those who maybe it was their first run or their second or third and you got it wrong, the good news is if a retard like me can get better, anyone can, man. So,
well, I mean, to add point to that, like, and I'm not trying to be a dickhead here, but I'm grateful that I got it right. And it's nice to know that I got it right, because I stepped back and I stopped listening to everybody out there, and I analyzed it myself. And when I saw people like OSF on our show even a few weeks ago, I saw other people like, Trader Main and other people on the timeline, another guy with more followers than me posting just absolute bullish takes that Bitcoin was going to 112. I was like, these guys, like, it kind of gives me the confidence that we are going lower, because there's enough people who are still bullish that we do need to go lower. So a sentiment indicator is often, we're going new all-time highs. It's the same thing when we shared Solana at 240, like way back here at $240 back here, when we said, look, Eli came on the show and he's like, Solana's going new all-time highs. Everyone on the timeline's like, it's gone to $300. And I tweeted about it. We mentioned it on the show. I said, I couldn't disagree with you more. We have overextension here. It's an under-test retest. We have rejection from this level, not only once, twice, but 3 times across multiple years. If it flips this level, yes, it'll go to $300, probably $400. If it cannot, this is a huge sell signal for me. And so I stabled up. This is way back in September. I have tweets to verify that as well. I know I was traveling. I remember when I was in Spain, Craig, and I jumped on a stream with you while I was away. I was fully stabled up, not because I was traveling, but because there was just so much exhaustion. There was so much liquidity that wasn't interested in crypto. There was so much lack of new wallets coming in. Okay. trends that were thriving previously were dying very quickly, right? So it's a good lesson. Again, and it's nice to see ownership, as you said with TraderMate. Like it's nice to see ownership. I always say that, like people who acknowledge that they lose. GG's, you've got my trust, you got my fault. Not my trust.
Doesn't matter how bad you got it either, as long as you learn and teach your viewers the lessons as well. Because and I'll touch on this in a moment. I think the responsibility of people like you and me and TraderMate and that is, I think, the reason why you publicly own it is to allow the viewers to learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Because you're helping them perhaps avoid it, even if it didn't happen to them. So, and that's the thing about trading. It honestly, shout out to TraderMate and all those people like you and me as well, Green. You come on every day and put their balls on the line, man.
Exactly.
Like we're calling future price predictions. Like that's, I mean, if you had told me in 21, if you had told me in 21 I was going to be coming on a show talking about what price is going to do, I would have shat my pants, man. I would have been like, that's so risky, dude. Putting your face doxed to price predictions where people can get wrecked and get mad at you. And shout out, I had a guy today, and this is why I think we're getting into the angry zone. I had a guy today, same guy who was calling me out for shilling meme coins recently. It was one of them was Testicle and the other one was Ping. What was it? I can't remember now. And his comment back to me today was, you Coles need to shut the F up and stop shilling this shite. I mean, he's got a Bitcoin PFP, so you know where he's coming from. His personality is Bitcoin. And I do agree. I do agree with you in the way that meme coins are going to zero, altcoins are going to zero. The US dollar is going to zero. The AUD is probably going to zero at some point.
So all currencies go to zero. All tokens, all stocks go to zero over time.
But there's moments in time where they outperform Bitcoin, and I am prepared to put my reputation on the line. You and I cop plenty of wins in meme coins, in altcoins. Ray, we've talked all of these. I'm not even going to talk about them again. 10x's, 30x's, 40x's. They're there. The receipts are there. Yes, the recent ones haven't done so well, but yeah, I'm willing to take a risk. And unfortunately, with me taking a risk and talking about things, is sometimes I get it wrong, sometimes I get it right. Yeah. But I think to say things like Coles need to shut the F up and not shill memes. Look, it also comes down, the other thing to that guy who commented that, I also show up every day and talk about technical analysis. I would ask that person who wrote that, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing to help the space?
Exactly.
I know what I'm doing, but what are you doing? Are you just shouting at people? I'm going to guess that comment more comes from his bags being down.
Oh, absolutely. And they're a keyboard warrior hiding behind an anonymous, an anonymous picture online. They're a keyboard warrior. They get satisfaction out of bullying people online and rage bait and all that stuff. Like the amount of people I've muted and blocked in my comments section recently, just because it's like straight out abuse. They use the N-word.
I muted him. I was like, you're swearing now, bro. We can't have dialogue now. Like
it's like, and like the amount of people who get it so wrong. And that's also that, like, as you grow a brand, you need to read these less, to be honest. But I like to read my comments to engage with people, to help. As Pricey literally said right now in the comments, thanks, Greeny. You're always so good at making sure you answer questions. That is my goal. I'm an educator. I'm a qualified teacher. That is my goal, right? But it's so interesting when you get comments like that. Some dude literally commented yesterday. I don't know whether it's AI or not. You never know these days either. No. But some dude's like, shut the F up. You called, like, you told everyone to sell Bitcoin at 20K last cycle. I was like, bro, homie, I wasn't even on CT before 2023, you dickhead. So I wish
I were. So I guess my point is, as this cycle continues to, this bear market continues to go time-wise, you're going to get comments like that. Unfortunately, people are angry, and I get it. I get why you are angry. But at the end of the day, everyone has to take responsibility. There's two parts to this. Everyone has to take responsibility for themselves, first and foremost. You click buy, you click sell. Yeah. What I've noticed is people take credit for where they get a trade wrong, but blame when they get it right, and blame when they get it wrong.
Yeah.
You have to blame yourself for both. It's your fault. It's your fault that you sold in profit, and it's your fault you sell in the negative. Not mine, not Greeny's, not any educator. In saying that, the second part is it's also the Cole influencer's responsibility, I think, to do enough research and to be probably shilling something that I'm not being paid for. if that makes sense. I'm not shilling meme coins where I got a secret 1% from a dev and I'm shilling something just because I got paid. That's not what happened here. I didn't get any testicle for free. Shit, that sounds funny. No testicle for free. It's my own bag. So the fact people, I'm upset. I'm upset that call didn't go right. But the thing is, I know that when I talk about something, I'm in it. It's with my own money and I'm doing my best. And that's all you can ever ask. And then learn from there. So it's easy at this point in the market as well to be going, look at what you got wrong. Look what you got wrong. Dude, rewind 6 months. Where were you cheering me on when I got it all right, right? Because you were probably taking profit. I mean, look at Bitcoin, how he called it for 2 years, 3 years. Dude, did anyone call it better?
Like clockwork, the handshaking emoji.
Like pretty well. And the other thing was to the guy that was calling that out, I don't want to go on, I'll stop my rant in a sec. You and I would say probably speak about Bitcoin at least half the show.
Every show.
This isn't a meme coin chat. This is a fun, this is an everything chat, but we hyper focus. Anyway, enough about that. Enough about the bears. Let's
dive into some news. So Strategy posts a Q4 loss of 12.4 billion. I would hate to know what their Q1 loss currently sits at, because this is when Bitcoin went from 120K to 89K, and Bitcoin is now at 70K after going to 59K. Really interestingly, Michael Saylor loves to buy the dip after the dip has already been dipped, right? So as you can see, he currently actually does not have any more orange dots below his average buy price, and it is still down below its average buy price. We do expect him to obviously come out probably in the next few days saying, yeah, we bought some, and he probably would have bought it at 71K, not in the 60K region. So this will be hilarious. But yeah, big news here obviously is that Michael Saylor and Strategy continue to be a leverage play on Bitcoin. Personally, I'm not really interested in that. Like, if you're a Bitcoin bull like PO, go for it. If you want to be a leverage play on top of Bitcoin specifically, go for it. But my lesson in life is you should never hold all your eggs in one basket. You should never do that. You should hedge, diversify, keep cash, be liquid, have different assets outside of our industry. Property, we just bought a property. And other things like that. I have some stocks. I actually bought a bit of Robinhood actually on the weekend, only $1,000, but I was like, you know what? It's down 50% or something. I was like, that seems value here. I'll buy a bit of Robinhood here. So, yeah, that would be my advice. At least there, as always, not financial advice, but just more about, don't. I mean, it's like anything. Like, don't just put your eggs in one basket. I think, we always want to make sure that you spread it around. Big short investor Michael Burry warns Bitcoin plunge could trigger 1 billion in gold and silver sell-off. 1 billion is nothing, Michael, because did you not see the trillions of dollars that exited gold and silver last week? Bro has been living under a rock for a long time, since 2008, where he did call it correctly. And I mean, he probably retired himself, is 10 generations after him with that call from the 2008 global financial crisis. He has been a bit outdated, Craig. Have you kept up to date with old Michael Burry's stories of late or not?
He's been bearish through the whole bull. So he's been talking about how, and look, he's right. We're heading into an all bear market, so everything is going to eat shite. But he's been saying this. It's almost like this guy's whole personality now. But it could be the media, needing talk pieces. Maybe he's not being that vocal in the media just because. I guess this is a good story to put now, right? After prices dumped. Because everyone's like, oh, whose fault is it? I don't know if Bitcoin's plunge is going to trigger metal sell-offs. Why?
Yeah, they're very much not correlated, in my opinion. And people own the assets very differently. Like China and stuff are buying a shit ton of silver and gold, or have been doing that for a while, right? They're not really buying Bitcoin right now. So
I don't think Bitcoin's triggering that. I just think the market's triggering that.
Yeah, overextension, right? Silver went from $20 to $120. That's a 6x on a $1 trillion.
Bitcoin did, dude, the last 6 months.
It needs to correlate to the downside. It needs to have price redistribution back towards its fair value. That's how price works, guys. That's why we try and educate you about price on the show every day. So drop a follow, drop a sub if you're on YouTube, and check out GTG. Join us down below. BTC 50% plunge isn't a crisis, says hedge fund veteran Gary Bode. The sell-off reflects Bitcoin's built-in volatility and market misreads of Fed policy, not structural weakness. I would say it's structural weakness in terms of price, but Yeah, that's an interesting take. But Bo contends that the markets are misreading the nomination of Kevin Walsh as the signal as tighter Fed reserve policy, and that perception margin calls of profit taken by large holders drove much of the. Bro, what is Bro even bloody saying here? He's literally just recounting and reacting to price. You want to be following guys. You want to be following people who proactively prepare you and maybe predict potentially scenarios that could happen. You don't want to be following people like this guy who is literally reacting to what has happened and then saying, oh, it was sold by large people selling up. Bro, we told you it was going to sell off months ago. We told you it was going to sell off months ago. Probably not even worth mentioning this article, Craig. Well, let's move on to the next one. BlackRock Bitcoin ETF options saw record activity during the crash, sparking theories of hedge fund blow up. Did you see this? So they did see billions of dollars of volume, 2.3 million contracts on Thursday as Bitcoin crashed, live on our show, mind you. So go back and watch that. We literally had it live on the show, dump to 59K. But as you can see here, 900 million in premiums as the fund fell 13% to its lowest level since October 2024. Yeah, look, that's basically it. But another camp argues that the flow largely reflects broader market panic. I would say that. And routine risk management. I would also agree with that, rather than a single catastrophic fund failure. Like, we still do not know. There was literally crime and manipulation yet again over the weekend with Ethereum for Binance, where 90 million people got liquidated within like minutes after the backup last week, where they had sold a portion of their Bitcoin as well. So we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. Again, market makers and whales, they drive the market. So it's your job to try and trade that before the trend emerges, where the whales and the big dogs who have a say on where price goes redistribute that worldwide. I'm talking people and funds and Russia and China. Like, you can't comprehend who moves these markets. So you need to trade them and get out well before and get in well before the bottom is in as well, in my opinion. Craig, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm the same as you. I mean, maybe a hedge fund did blow up. Who knows? But yeah, possibly. And I think we'll see as the bear market continues. We will see some blow up. I like you said, I just think it was the market doing its market thing. I although the move was sharp and fast, I don't think anything catastrophic happened personally. No. I did find that post quite funny of yours with the Ethereum chart.
Yeah.
It looked like a sound bite, a sound wave.
Yeah, I think my understanding was a grid bot was manipulated. So you know how Amando uses grid bots to trade? So
yeah, right.
It's complex. I've looked into it and I'm like, you got to really take advantage of it, which is why he takes advantage of it. You need to have millions of dollars, right? Because you're trading a range of volatility, right? And you're longing, shorting based on the parameters that you set within your grid range, right? So apparently it was manipulated on the Ethereum grid range to liquidate someone who had a shit ton of liquidity sitting in one of these grid bots. That's at least my understanding of what happened on Binance specifically. So as always, do your own research, check it all out, whatnot. Probably last story of today probably is Cadona's Charles Hoskinson reveals $3 billion unrealized loss in crypto route. I literally have no words for this, and this is exactly why Cadona will never see all-time highs again, and it is basically gone to zero. I actually put some tweets out on the weekend, Craig, saying that the majority of altcoins, the majority of tokens in crypto are going to zero. So why would you, one, work with them, two, hold them, or three, even promote them publicly or be bullish on them? Because there's literally no intrinsic value to holding these assets. And look at this guy. Look at this guy. 3 billion unrealized loss in crypto. What the hell are you doing with your life, bro? Seriously.
Yeah, he's a crack up, this guy. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing sometimes. I don't know, man. Look at the state of it. Yeah, Cardano, great trade from 21 for me. I faded it in the last bull, and I'm glad I did. It did F4, just like most other altcoins, zero. It's what we heard from a few people. Michael Saylor says it. He's not wrong with that, really, is he? What does Cardano do? When is it going to start doing? I mean, I remember
I couldn't even tell you, and I could not even tell you.
I remember when I was getting into it in 21. They were talking about it being the tech that they're going to use in Africa to keep what's the word? Records. They don't have a good paper trail there of owning assets, so Cardano is going to be Has any of this rolled out in Africa? It's been 5 years.
You know what? You know what? Let's compare two charts here live on the channel, guys, as the last little point of this stream today. This is the Cardano chart. This is a meme coin chart called Pengu. Look how better the meme coin chart of Pengu. It actually went up and reached another all-time high, sure, in a different time scale, of course. And I do think that maybe it pumps back up here. I don't know if it'll ever go to all-time highs again. We'll have to just see what the market's doing. That is Pengu. Let me take it back to a Cardano. This is wild, Craig. It is so undeniably bearish. It literally looks way worse than meme coins. Looks way worse.
40.
It's lost its lows. This is going to zero. Mark my words. This will be worth nothing in 5 years' time.
Yeah, I think that those sorts of charts, they tend to just trend down. And I mean, if it didn't do a sort of a U-shaped recovery there, which a lot do, I'm actually surprised. Yeah, that's the same thing.
This does not.
This is one of my favorite charts in crypto.
Yeah, if it loses,
reject chart, no. It just gets told no by the market every time.
Isn't it crazy? Like for AVAX, it's already at its bear market lows of 2023, and Bitcoin's nowhere near 15K. That just shows you the lack of value in this specific token.
Oh yeah, and buyers are just not interested in the tech.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say about it.
If it breaks this, it's going back to $3.
So I guess we're. Are you thinking we go lower this bear market than we did last bear market?
Yeah, which is crazy. Crazy.
Oh,
this might have topped, in my opinion. This could be topping sooner rather than later. So I think we get value in Hyperliquid soon in comparison to Bitcoin. Like, again, huge outperformance, like basically a 2x when the market is dumping is crazy. So another reason for me that I think Hyperliquid definitely goes lower, or at least hold, like, I mean, Hyperliquid in US dollars might not necessarily go lower. But if it goes low against BTC, that's where I start to see value again. Okay. It'll probably do something out of this. Draw it out. Okay. Clip this out. Come back to it in about 4 months' time, 6 months' time. It'll probably do something out of this. Maybe it goes one more time and then it does something out of this. But that's what it'll be. That's what I'm keen to get in. Bang. Take me to the next ride up high. That's exactly what will happen. Trust me.
I agree. And that's something Greedy and I were looking at last bull run when we were talking about altcoins and altcoins actually, that we were going to get into as we looked at their pair versus Bitcoin, and which showed strength. And that's why Solana was such a big pick of ours last bull run, because it showed such massive relative strength versus Bitcoin rather than the relative strength Ethereum showed against Bitcoin. And that's why Greeny and I got on the Solana bandwagon so early, because that particular chart gave us an early warning sign in what to be bullish on, and was Solana. And then consequently, we looked at those charts versus BTC pair, and it showed us when to pivot into Ethereum. And we ran Ethereum up from 1,300 to 4.5. So, well, I mean, that's the good news about watching the show. We actually give you the ingredients to the recipe. We give you the recipe, for, to bake the same cake we do. So if you guys listen and tune in, we actually tell you exactly what we do. We don't gatekeep it and go, keep watching the show. If you keep watching, we might give you little tidbits. We give you the actual data. So you guys can take this, go away, test it for yourself. If it doesn't work, come back and call us out. And if it does, hopefully it does. It doesn't always work, but actually it does. It does work. Against the BTC pair, just doesn't. Oh,
it's a no-brainer. You look at it. I'll pull up those charts in a second. But this goes back on the point we were talking earlier on the show about volatility. It's the first time volatility has been above 13 since basically and consistently held it basically since June 2021, which is crazy, which is when we had the second pump out of the first May, or into the dump. Sorry, we had the dump in from May, then we pumped up obviously into November of 2021. So that just shows you again why I don't think we dump too aggressively for a while now, because volatility has hit unprecedented levels for years. We have not seen levels like this for a long time. So again, on-chain liquidity, on-chain volume is supporting, and on-chain volatility is supporting. Probably we chop around this region between 60 and maybe 85, Craig, for a couple of months, in my opinion. I think that definitely could happen. The chart that Craig was referring to was here when Solana outperformed BTC way back here. You can go look at my timeline. I literally have charts of this as well. Sharing here when I was really bullish on Solana outperforming. I literally didn't even hold Bitcoin during this period of time because I had less money. And that's what I mean. Like, my circumstance is vastly different now in this bear market to where it was in 23. I had no money. I had about like 5-10 grand. Flipping that. I was like, well, hold on. Solana here is going to outperform. So I'll hold Solana directly and I'll trade on Solana because that makes more sense. Then the ordinals came along. So I made a bit of money on Mad Lads and stuff and meme coins and stuff. So then I rotated that to ordinals, caught that little wave. But it's again, we teach you how to be rotational in a market that deserves you to be adaptable. You have to adapt. Otherwise, you're not going to win over the long term. Pricey says, boys, looking at the unit currency system, apparently that run on Cardano. Pricey, no, sorry, brother. I could not care less about what Cardano is building, bro. I'm sorry.
Tell us.
I'm sorry, bro. I mean, you can mention it in the comments, but I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to look into it. Look, apparently a lot of people calling out Ben Cowan for being right, but I get you got. Sure, he's been right more recently. We've been right more recently. But what I don't like is that he literally ignored Solana all cycle. He literally ignored it all cycle.
He got the bull market pretty wrong.
He bull posted ADA. So like, he's great now, but he wasn't great for a long period of time now.
Yeah, what's he being praised for? What part of the call?
Calling a top.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, fair shout. Just as calls in between were horrendous. And also, like the coins he was in didn't even have a top.
No.
So I mean, yeah. Well, he got it eventually. Well, I guess he had to get it right eventually.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think that'll probably do for today's show. Great show. As always, lots of analysis there. So, guys, if you do enjoy this, leave a comment under the stream. If you're watching this back on replay on Kick, or if you're watching it obviously on YouTube or anywhere else on Twitter, leave us a comment. Let us know if there's anything you want us to look at on tomorrow's show. And if you enjoy this, as always, give us a follow, give us a sub on YouTube if you're watching as well. We very much appreciate your daily support. And Craig will be back again the same time tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard or 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then. Thanks, Granny. Great show. Hopefully everyone got a lot out of that. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow, same time, and enjoy the Super Bowl for the Americans in the room. I'll probably have it on in the background as well and keep up with it. But we'll catch you tomorrow.
The Winter Olympics is on too. That's fun to watch as well.
Dope. Yeah, that is cool. All right, guys, we'll catch you tomorrow.
Have a good Sunday/Monday, guys. See you.